And we're joined now by Ohio Governor John Kasich, who is in Columbus. Governor Kasich, you've had a good couple of weeks here. You've stayed on the high road. You've been asked a lot about Hillary Clinton's server, and you've stayed away from answering those questions. Donald Trump seems to be taking the opposite approach to the campaign. What do you make of those two different approaches?
Well, my approach is to let people know what I'm all about, John. You know, balancing the federal budget as one of the chief architects, defense experience, serving on the Armed Services Committee, turning Ohio around from $8 billion in the hole to surpluses and the growth of 350,000 jobs. But look, I want people to know what I'm all about right now, because I think the country needs lifted. I think it needs united. But let me also tell you, I was thinking about this as I was listening to the introduction. I beat an incumbent Democrat when I ran for the legislature at the age of 26. I was the only Republican to defeat an incumbent Democrat in 1982 for Congress, running on the record of Ronald Reagan. And I was the first one to defeat an incumbent of any party in 36 years here in Ohio, and of course ran for re-election and won the second largest electoral victory in the history of the state. But I'm sort of into letting people know what I'm for. And I'm into, John, lifting people. I mean, we'll have plenty of time for me to debate, particularly Hillary Clinton, if she's the nominee, and point out our differences. And, you know, I've won all these elections against incumbents, and I expect to win this one as well, but with a message that's bigger, not one that's smaller.
So I want to get at your theory of the electorate, because you see the electorate in one way, and Donald Trump, who is at the top of the polls right now and is leading your party. You know, the Wall Street Journal, for example, says that he is not appealing. You said that Donald Trump was tapping into something. What the Wall Street Journal editorial page said essentially is that he's tapping into people's worst instincts. What's your view of the electorate? I mean, do you agree with that?
Well, I think the electorate is fed up and frustrated. I think they think government doesn't work. I just ran into a lady yesterday. Somebody walked into the office where she was working and said, "You're out of work." And in fact, she was asked to train somebody who lived, you know, as they outsourced her job. She didn't even know it. Now she doesn't have a job. And this is very frustrating. People that have their children who went to college and ring up big, massive debt, and they can't find work. But I think the spirit of the American people is to acknowledge the challenges that we have, John. But I don't think people want to lie in a state of pessimism. I think they want to know what are the solutions for fixing and meeting these challenges. And that's what I've always tried to do in my career. I just don't stay on the negative side of things. I want to move to the positive. And I just even remember back when Clinton was raising taxes and I had an alternative to that. And a lot of Republicans didn't want me to put forward the ideas that the Republicans were for. And we did it. We were successful. We won the majority. And then we went on to balance the budget. Positive and innovative ideas are the energy that moves not just our country, but the world.
Let me ask you about taxes, actually, on that question. So you balanced the budget the last time it was balanced in Washington. You say you want to bring folks together. In the last campaign, all the Republican candidates were asked a question, and they were asked, would you accept $1 in tax increases for $10 in spending reductions? And not a single Republican said they would take that deal. Democrats say they want some kind of tax increases. Would you take that deal?
John, I wouldn't at this point because, you know, when we were in our fighting with the Clinton administration, actually went through a government shutdown, we cut taxes, which allowed the economy to grow. So how do you balance a budget with economic growth and reforming and innovating government? The idea that and look, there are a lot of great Americans who say, look, if you raise my taxes and use it to pay down the debt, you know, I'd all be for that. What they have to understand, and I've had the experience, 18 years in Congress, you know, 4.5 years as the governor of Ohio. What we learn is that, no, if the government takes more, they'll spend it. Right now, even out here in Ohio, I have to always guard against the idea that we've got money to spend. When I left Washington, we had a $5 trillion surplus after I spent 10 years of my life to balance the budget, and it was all blown. So the idea that we're going to start talking about raising taxes, no. You need to reform and shrink government. That's what you need to do and create economic growth, which is exactly what we've done in Ohio. I've had the largest amount of tax cuts of any sitting governor in this country, and we've gone from $8 billion in the hole to $2 billion in the black, the growth of 350,000 jobs, stronger credit. So why would I change the formula, John? Doesn't make any sense.
Well, you might change it to get the agreement of Democrats you would have to work with. But let me ask you a question on immigration.
Well, but not all Democrats now would say that our answer is taxes. What Democrats would say is respect. A lot of the social programs, we don't have to get rid of them. We need to innovate them and reform them. I mean, there's lots of grounds on which to agree with some members of the Democratic Party. You're not going to get them all, but you're going to get some. That's what Reagan did when he was elected president. He worked with Phil Gramm and got some Democrats. I do the same thing. I know how to do it. I've done it before.
Let me ask you another tricky question that's got people bollocksed up here in Washington. It's on immigration reform. And when I talk to Republicans about why nothing has passed, candidly, they will say that any Republican who supports what you do, which is a path towards some kind of legal status, will just get creamed by the base of their party. How would you as a president solve that problem?
Well, first of all, John, we're not in office to stay in office. We should go into public office for the purposes of making things better. You know, Churchill said I think he's the guy that said, you know, in war you die once, but in politics you can die 1,000 deaths. I mean, the idea that I'm afraid I'm going to get primaried out of existence, therefore I can't do anything. When you finally walk out of public office and look yourself in the mirror, if all you did was play politics, how are you supposed to feel about what you did when you took time away from your family and your friends, and all you did was play politics? It's kind of nuts. In my opinion, there is a solution here to this issue of immigration. Finish the wall and make it clear. Anybody that comes over that wall once we've done it, you're going back. And then the 12 million that are here, you know, legalize them, but make sure we don't have any of the criminal element here, and have a guest worker program. I think the country can unite around that.
All right, Governor John Kasich, thanks so much.